What is going on, everyone? I hope you are all having a fantastic day. So, we've talked a lot on this channel about the constant battle between the newer modern fintech companies and the old traditional financial institutions. And if you've watched any number of my videos, then you probably know that I am definitely on the fintech side of that debate. And while those discussions have largely centered around banking platforms, that is not the only service that many of these fintech companies are bringing to the table when challenging the old school financial industry. So, in today's video, I want to talk about the investing side of this battle, and that means we're going to be putting one of my favorite robo-advisors, Wealthfront, head-to-head with a massive, well-known investing brokerage that you may have heard of before by the name of Charles Schwab. So, in today's video, let's break down everything that Wealthfront and the Charles Schwab Intelligent Portfolios feature has to offer, talk about the pros and cons of each, and hopefully help you decide which one might be the better investing tool for you. Alright, let's jump right into it. So, in a lot of ways, we are comparing apples to oranges today because the companies behind each of these platforms are very different, but the end products are actually more alike than you may think. So, I do want to brush up on the features that each has to offer, but as per usual, if you want a more in-depth look at either of these platforms, then I have done 4 reviews on both Wealthfront as well as Charles Schwab's Intelligent Portfolios feature, so be sure to check those out if you want a more in-depth look. And before we get into the comparison, I do want to clarify that I am specifically talking about the Charles Schwab Intelligent Portfolios today, and I completely understand that they do offer several other investing services for more active investors and traders, but I'm specifically talking about robo-advisors and automated investing systems, which is why we are strictly comparing Wealthfront to the Charles Schwab Intelligent Portfolios. So let's actually start off with the investing giant Charles Schwab, which, if you are not familiar, is a massive financial service company that was founded in 1971 and currently has nearly $7 trillion in assets under management. In fact, Charles Schwab is so big that they actually recently purchased another large brokerage that you're probably familiar with, and that would be TD Ameritrade. And the combination of these two platforms is really turning Charles Schwab into one of the largest trading platforms in the world. So, like I said, they offer a number of investing and financial services across the board, but one of my favorite tools that they currently have is their Robo-Advisor that they call the Charles Schwab Intelligent Portfolios. And if you're not familiar, a Robo-Advisor in general is typically going to take your investment money and automatically build a custom portfolio for you based on a number of different financial goals that you may have. Now, in the case of Charles Schwab's Intelligent Portfolios, it is largely centered around a retirement investing plan, which is fine, and that is a great place to get started if you are brand new to investing. But that is something you'll want to keep in mind, and if you're looking at that long-term play, then this is a great place to get started, but they do offer other accounts like regular investing and brokerage accounts, custodial accounts, and a few other options as well. So, when you open up your Charles Schwab Intelligent Portfolios account, you're first going to be asked to answer a few simple questions like how old are you, when do you plan to retire, your risk tolerance, and a few other questions that are going to help Charles Schwab better understand where you are at in your investing journey. Then, once you've linked an account and made a deposit, Charles Schwab is going to go to work and automatically build that custom portfolio for you across different asset classes like stocks, fixed income vehicles, commodities, real estate, and of course, cash. And it's really easy to adjust whether you want a higher risk, higher return potential portfolio, which typically consists of more stocks, or a lower risk, lower return potential portfolio, which usually has fewer stocks and more assets like bonds. Now, as to specifically where your money is actually being invested and placed within these different markets, it's really going to go into funds like ETFs, also known as exchange-traded funds. And while some of these ETFs might have a small fee on their end, Charles Schwab themselves is never going to charge an advisory fee or a commission or anything like that, so for the most part, this platform is completely free to use, which is awesome. This account also comes with 24/7 live US-based customer support, which in my experience has been really great, so there's another big advantage that I would give to Charles Schwab. But let's throw on the brakes here for a second because there is a huge complaint that everyone seems to talk about with the Charles Schwab Intelligent Portfolios, and that would be that there is currently a minimum investment requirement of $5,000, which I know to some of you might be nothing, but to a lot of you it might be all the money in the world. So if you are just getting started, then this is probably not going to be a very good fit for you. That being said, it is a very powerful tool if you are a little further along in your financial journey, so just keep that in mind when making your decision. Alright, I know we just scratched the surface, so again, if you do want a more in-depth look, then definitely check out that full review that I made on the Charles Schwab Intelligent Portfolios. But now let's move on to Wealthfront and see what they currently have to offer. So, similar to Charles Schwab and other robo-advisors for that matter, when you open up your Wealthfront account, whether that be an IRA, a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, SEP IRA, a regular investing account, a joint account, custodial account, or one of the many other accounts that they offer, they're simply going to ask you a few questions to get an idea of where you are at with your financial goals and other aspects of your financial health. And once you answer those questions, they are then going to assign you what's called a risk score, and that ranges from as low as 0.5, being the least risky, going all the way up to a 10, which is the most risky. And regardless of what score you are recommended by Wealthfront, you can go and change that and select whatever risk score you want. So it's not like you're locked into whichever one they recommend to you. So from there, Wealthfront is going to invest whatever deposit you make across US stocks, foreign stocks, emerging markets, dividend stocks, municipal bonds, real estate, corporate bonds, US government bonds, and even TIPS, which are Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. Alright, I know that was a lot, but at this point you're probably thinking that these platforms are pretty much identical. And as far as robo-advisors are concerned, yeah, they're all going to take your money and automatically invest it for you in different ETFs. So what are the key differences that you'll want to keep in mind, and how can you decide between the two? Well, key difference number one is that Wealthfront does currently have a management fee of 0.25%, which isn't horrible, but keep in mind that Charles Schwab is completely free, other than the fees that some ETFs might charge. So that is the first big difference that you'll want to keep in mind. Now, on that note, I will mention that Wealthfront's minimum investment is just $500, while Charles Schwab's is $5,000. And Wealthfront will allow you to invest your first $5,000 for completely free, meaning that 0.5% management fee that I mentioned earlier is waived. So if you are interested in that, then definitely check out the link down in the description below to get your first $5,000 managed for free by Wealthfront. But the other major difference between these two platforms is that, in my opinion at least, Charles Schwab's platform feels like a bit of a dinosaur when compared to Wealthfront's really modern and easy to understand design that works wonderfully both on the desktop as well as their very well designed mobile app. Additionally, Wealthfront recently added 2 different crypto investing options to their automated investing portfolios, and while it's very possible that Charles Schwab does offer something like this, I personally was not able to find anything about this in my research, so if this is something that Charles Schwab offers, then it isn't very heavily advertised. Both of these platforms will automatically rebalance your portfolio, which basically means that if one asset goes way up, or maybe another asset goes way down in value, then they are automatically going to buy and sell in order to rebalance your portfolio and make sure that they are staying within the investing parameters that you originally decided on. And on top of that, both platforms will also use tax loss harvesting, which essentially means that they will strategically sell assets that are currently at a loss in order to offset the taxes that you owe on your profits. And I know that sounds really complex, but the great thing is that this is all done for you automatically, and in the case of Wealthfront, a lot of times the management fee that you pay, which again is 0.25%, is completely covered by the savings from this tax loss harvesting strategy. And if none of that made any sense to you at all, don't worry, because again, it's all automatic, and that's one of the reasons that I love robo-advisors in general. Now, with all of that being said, with the Charles Schwab Intelligent Portfolios, in order to take advantage of tax loss harvesting, you need to have at least $50,000 or more invested on this platform, which for your average investor who is just getting started is probably completely out of reach. So you can probably see where I'm going with this, but essentially, yes, these platforms are very similar, and at the end of the day, a robo-advisor is a robo-advisor. And while the actual investments themselves might be slightly different, the returns that you're going to get on any kind of broad market index fund is really going to be pretty similar across the board. But the most obvious difference that I see in general is that Charles Schwab is definitely catered towards a higher end clientele who might have a lot more money to invest, while Wealthfront is aimed at those younger, newer investors who might just be getting started and maybe only have a few $100s to invest. Charles Schwab also has a premium portfolios feature, but again, that's only available if you have $25,000 or more invested, and while Charles Schwab probably has a wider variety of investment options available within the intelligent intelligent portfolios. The whole reason that I invest with a Robo-Advisor in the first place is that it is really simple and I don't have to really think about it or worry if my investments are in the best place possible. So if you have a ton of money and you are familiar, or maybe you've worked with Charles Schwab in the past, then definitely go with that and check it out, because you can probably afford to access some of those higher end features. However, as many of you know, I have used Wealthfront for a long time, and I definitely plan on sticking with them for much longer, because I love the easy to understand layout of their platform, both online and on the mobile app, the ability for me to link all of my other investing accounts so that I can see everything under one platform, and the fact that it is just a really simple and boiled down platform that means that I don't have to worry about my investments or anything like that. And again, that's the reason that a lot of people go with a Robo-Advisor in the first place, because they don't want to have to pick from 20 different portfolios that are all basically the same at the end of the day. So I would love to know what you think of these platforms down in the comment section below, and whether you prefer Charles Schwab's intelligent portfolios or Wealthfront for your Robo-Advisor. Again, be sure to check out the 2 full reviews that I did on these platforms, since I know that we kind of flew through a lot of the features, and there's probably a few things that weren't mentioned in this video that you will definitely want to know about. As always, if you did get value out of this content and you want to help support me, the easiest way to do that is actually checking out some of my favorite financial tools down in the description below, and in this case, getting your first $5,000 of investments managed for free from Wealthfront, if that is the platform that you decide to go with. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future. And of course, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it so much. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.